My name is Harold. I am 33, an associate at a mid-size law firm downtown. I am the oldest child, the one who reads the fine print and brings extra napkins. I am the person who fixes Wi-Fi, proofreads leases, and remembers everyone's allergies. I do not drink much, I run early, and I like my receipts lined up by date because chaos makes my head buzz. At home, I am the calm one. In my family, that means the bank. It was a Sunday, late afternoon, rain ticking against the kitchen window at my parents' place. The house smelled like lemon cleaner and fried onions. My mother was slicing peaches with that tiny serrated knife she has had since I was 10. My sister Jenna scrolled on her phone, half listening, half smirking. The television in the living room was playing some reality show at low volume, people with white teeth arguing about a vacation rental. I stood by the counter, tie loosened, reading a draft settlement on my phone because a client liked to panic on weekends. Mom did not look at me when she said it. She just reached into the little ceramic bowl where we toss keys and cards, picked up a black card she always calls the one with the tap, and turned to Jenna like it was nothing. "Sweetheart, use your brother's card. He has got about $90,000 saved," Mom said, smiling, handing my card to my sister without my permission. It was casual, thoughtless, the way you would say, "Grab a sweater." "Mom," I said. "Just that." Jenna shrugged, took the card with 2 fingers like she was picking a flower. "We are just looking," she said. "Back to school stuff. Jenna has not been in school for 6 years." "Put it back," I said, keeping my voice flat. My mouth felt dry. My heart did that tight, light jump it does when a judge asks a question you are not expecting. Mom waved her hand, annoyed. "Stop being dramatic, Harold. We will sort it later. Do not start." Jenna's grin widened. "You are such a lawyer. It is just shopping." The peaches glistened on the cutting board. A drip of juice slid onto the edge of a bill for the gas company. On television, someone yelled, "You promised me!" and it felt stupidly on the nose. "I did not authorize that," I said. "Do not take it." Jenna tucked the card into her phone case anyway, like the issue was settled. "Be right back," she sang, snatching Dad's car keys from a hook by the door. She kissed Mom's cheek and breathed out, leaving cold air and a trail of vanilla perfume. Mom kept slicing like nothing happened. "You always make things so heavy," she said softly. "You know your sister is trying to get on her feet." I looked at the knife, the peaches, the clean counter. I had wiped myself after dinner. I felt the old pressure gather behind my eyes. I swallowed it. "Mom," I said again slower, "put my card back." She did not. She set down the knife and finally met my eyes. The look said, "Do not embarrass me, do not make a scene, we are family." That was the first click of the lock turning in my head. Not anger, not yet, just a click. Here is the part that did not happen in one day. It happened over a decade of little things that did not look like theft because they came wrapped in family words. When my dad's back went out, I paid the MRI copay. When the roof leaked, I put a new card on the roofer's invoice because Mom's credit was acting weird. When Jenna forgot her rent, I zelled her just this once because her landlord is a creep and I did not want her getting cornered. If someone was short, I covered. If someone was stuck, I drove. No one asked how I had the money. They assumed I had it because I was the lawyer. Here is the unglamorous truth. I'm an associate, not partner. I pay insane student loans. I have a cheap used sedan that smells faintly like coffee. And the $90,000 was not lying around. It was my emergency fund plus the down payment for a modest condo. I had been stalking on a real estate application at 2 a.m. When insomnia got loud, it was every packed lunch, every skipped Uber, every wedding where I wore the same suit and pretended it was a choice. When you are the calm one, everybody assumes you are fine, even when you say you are not. Mom's favorite line, "We raised you, you turned out well, you should give back." Dad's favorite line, "A family is one pocket." Jenna's line, "I am not asking for a handout, it is an investment." I have argued against those lines in my head for years. I would write counter-arguments like closing statements while brushing my teeth. But out loud I swallowed them. I picked my battles. I wanted peace. Peace comes with a price tag nobody totals until later. The pressure picked up this past spring. Jenna quit a job at a boutique after 2 weeks because the manager had a tone. Then she started an online store that sold nothing and posted influencer reels about soft life. Mom co-signed a car for her so she could get to interviews. When the payments were late, guess who helped for now? In June, I told them I was finally looking at buying. I said it in a careful voice, the one I use with nervous witnesses. I have saved the down payment. I am meeting a broker. I do not want to touch that money for anything else. I texted it too because I wanted it in writing. Mom heart reacted. Dad sent a thumbs up. Jenna replied, "Proud of you, big bro. Can I borrow your blender?" 2 weeks later, the group chat lit up with, "Family dinner Sunday." Big news. It was Jenna. The big news was that she was launching a studio, by which she meant a room in a rented co-working space with neon signs. She wanted to surprise everyone with a vision board. At dinner, she passed around a laminated list of starter needs: camera, ring lights, a few designer pieces, a laptop that does not freeze, and gifts for future collaborations because you have to spend to make. "Do not look at me," Dad said, raising his palms. "We are tapped. Your brother will help," Mom said like she was ordering bread. I stared at the list. I thought about the condo's green-tiled bathroom I had saved to my phone. I said, "I cannot. I told you about the down payment." Jenna rolled her eyes. "You are so linear." Mom sighed, "A deep theatrical thing your sister is trying. You, of all people, should support that." "I do," I said. "But not with my house money." Mom's face hardened. "You have always been careful," she said, like careful was a flaw. "Sometimes you have to believe in people." Dad chimed in. "We have believed in you since you were born." He meant, "You owe us." I washed dishes after dinner. The neon numbers on the stove glowed 8:32. The sponge squeaked against a pan. I kept breathing slowly like I teach anxious clients before depositions. The next week, Mom stopped by my apartment with laundry detergent and left with my extra laptop just for a few days so Jenna could edit. I told myself it was okay. Then she asked for my streaming passwords to help her unwind. I told myself it was nothing. Then she asked me to co-sign a small personal loan, just in case Jenna needs inventory. I said no to that one. I actually said the word no. Mom did not speak to me for 3 days. Then came Sunday, the peaches, the card. After Jenna left with my card, I stood in that kitchen and felt my chest hum like a power line. I wanted to shout. I did not. I did what I always do. I tried to manage it. "Mom, this is not okay." I said, "You cannot take my card." She wiped the knife clean with a paper towel. I did not take it. "Jenna borrowed it. She does not have permission." "You are so legal," she said, like it was a slur. "You make everything a contract. We are family." I wanted to say, "Families can still steal." I wanted to say, "I am not a line of credit." Instead, I said, "Call her. Tell her to bring it back." Mom's mouth flattened. "Stop controlling everything." The rain got harder. Dad shuffled in wearing socks with sandals, opened the fridge, and stared inside like answers were next to the pickles. "What is this?" he said, sensing weight in the air. "Nothing," Mom said quickly. Jenna ran an errand for what I asked. Mom did not answer. She tossed the peach pits in the trash and tied the bag. "I need to take this out." She went into the rain without a coat. It felt like a metaphor and also just my mother being dramatic with produce. I stood there with my phone in my hand. I typed, "Bring my card back now." I did not send it. I deleted it. I typed, "This is not okay." I deleted that too. At 6:14 p.m., Jenna texted the family chat a photo of 3 shopping bags sitting in a mall food court, a smoothie next to them. The caption, "We love a productive Sunday. No tags, no receipts, no detail, just a poke." Mom sent a heart emoji. Dad sent a fire emoji he uses incorrectly for everything. The click in my head turned into a slow word. Breaking points do not always arrive with screaming. Sometimes they show up in a strip of fluorescent light and a cashier who is just doing her job. At 7:02 p.m., my phone buzzed with a fraud alert. Then a second, then a third. "Is this you?" it asked. Transaction number 3, $8.99 at Electro Electronics. Transaction number 2, $450 for Lumiere shoes. Transaction number 1, $280 at Maison Parfum. Location, the mall. Jenna always tags in her stories when she wants free samples. I screenshotted because I knew I would need proof. I hit no, not me. I called the bank. While I was on hold listening to a woman say my call was important, I texted Jenna, "Stop, call me now." She did not. Instead, she posted a boomerang of a glossy bag swinging on her wrist. Mom texted me separately, "Do not be petty. She is investing in herself." Investing. The customer service representative came on. Calm, bored, probably in a room with bad lighting. I verified everything. I asked them to freeze the card. She said someone was currently at a register attempting a large purchase, and could I confirm the amount? I asked, "How much?" She said very gently, $188,000. My mouth opened, but nothing came out for a second. The air in the kitchen felt thin. I hung up and drove. I do not remember the turns. I remember the sound of the rain, the smear of red tail lights, the sticky brake pedal that needs WD-40. I parked crooked, ran inside the mall, smelling like cinnamon and floor cleaner. Jenna was at electronics, ring light haloing a wall of televisions, a display of noise-canceling headphones like trophies. Her cart was stacked with boxes, a camera that looked like it could film a nature documentary, 2 designer laptops, a tablet, a drone. She wore a puffy coat and the look of a person who has never been told no. Mom stood beside her, chatting with a salesperson about warranty plans like she was buying a toaster. I walked up. "Give me my card." Jenna blinked slow. "Relax." The cashier hit a button, slid the card into the reader. The machine chirped. A pause. He glanced at the screen, then at Jenna. "Sorry, but this card is," he bit back a word, "declined." Jenna laughed like it was cute. "Run it again." "I just froze it," I said. My voice sounded calmer than my body felt. "Give me my card." Mom stepped between us like a human customer service supervisor. "Do not humiliate your sister," she hissed. "People are looking." "They should look," I said, finally letting my words land. "You took my card. It is family money," Mom snapped. "You will get it back when her studio takes off." The cashier cleared his throat, embarrassed to be near this scene. "I can hold the items for 15 minutes, he said. "After that, they go back." "Put them back now," I told him. "This is unauthorized." Jenna's face did a hard switch. The smirk died. "You are so small," she said, voice low. "You love making me feel like trash. You have always loved that. Give me my card." She shoved it into my chest and walked away with Mom, both of them muttering about my attitude. In the food court, they sat with smoothies like it was intermission. I sat across from them. The table was sticky. A kid behind me cried about a pretzel. The overhead speakers played cheerful pop. My shirt was damp. My hands shook. Mom started. "You could have handled that privately. You could have asked," I said. "You could have respected." "No." Jenna rolled her eyes to the skylight. "I told you he likes being the victim." I put my phone on the table and opened the banking application. I scrolled to the alerts. The numbers stared back. $88,000 attempt, plus the little ones. Screenshots lined up like receipts of who they were. "Do you see this?" I said. "Do you see what you tried to spend?" "It was a bundle," Jenna said. "Discounts, Jenna?" I said, and the way her name came out made her look at me. "No more." "What does that mean?" Mom asked, suspicious. "It means there will be consequences," I said, "real ones." Mom laughed. "What will you do, sue your own mother?" She said it like a dare. I stood up because sitting felt too powerless. "I will not argue here," I said, voice steady. "I am going home. If anything else is charged on any card, I will treat it like I would for any client. You will get the same courtesy and nothing extra." Mom sucked her teeth. "You are heartless." "Maybe," I said. "Or maybe I am finally done being a wallet." I left them there. The rain had softened into mist. In the car, I exhaled for the first time in 20 minutes and felt the exhale turn into something like shaking. On the drive home, I practiced sentences out loud, not for court, for my life. People imagine aftermath as quiet. Mine was loud. The ding of group chats, the silent ring of ignored calls, the thud of my heart when my phone lit up with Mom. That night, the family group chat exploded. Jenna posted a paragraph about public humiliation and being unsupported. Mom added, "Your brother has always had control issues." Dad wrote, "Let us be reasonable," which in our language means, do what your mother wants. I did not answer. I took photos of every message. I saved every alert. I changed every password I had not already changed. I set up 2-factor authentication. I called the bank again and had them issue a new card and a new account number. And I put a verbal password on the account that is not my birthday, my dog's name, or my favorite sports team. I froze my credit. I removed my name from the automatic payments for the family cell plan I had been covering temporarily since 2021. I canceled the streaming profiles I paid for and that no one thanked me for. It felt petty for 5 seconds. Then it felt like breathing. At 11:43 p.m., Mom called. I let it go to voicemail. Her voice was low and furious. "You embarrassed me today," she said. "You think money makes you superior? It does not. You would not have that money without us. We fed you, we clothed you, we did without so you could study. You owe this family." I replayed it twice. The word owe scratched at me like sand. At 7:08 the next morning, a text from Dad. "Come by tonight, family meeting." I typed, "I cannot. I have work." I erased it. I typed, "Okay, 6. Then I put on a suit and went to an early hearing with a judge who says my last name like it is 3 syllables. I argued a motion. I won. Afterwards, my colleague asked if I wanted coffee. I said no. I ordered 2. I started catching up, but my eyes kept darting to my phone like a dog to the door. At 6:04 p.m., I walked into my parents' living room and felt that old childhood tightness in my shoulders, like I should sit up straighter without being told. Mom sat upright on the couch with a notebook like she had prepared remarks. Jenna had sunglasses on indoors. Dad paced. "We are going to resolve this," Dad said, throwing his hands like a referee. I nodded. "Great. Resolution is good." I sat. I put my phone face down. I clasped my hands so they would not tremble. Mom started. "You humiliated your sister over a misunderstanding." "What was misunderstood?" I asked. "We thought your savings was for family goals," Mom said, actually using the word goals like we were pitching a deck. "Jenna's studio is a family investment." "No," I said, "it is not." "You are selfish," Jenna snapped. "You think your little law job makes you better than us?" I laughed, surprised at the sound. "Nothing about my job feels little," I said. "But this is not about better, it is about boundaries." Mom put down her notebook and leaned forward. "Boundaries," she repeated slowly, like tasting a word she did not like. "So, here is what we propose." She actually used that word. "We set a monthly family support budget just until Jenna is stable. You contribute, say, $2,000. That is nothing to you. And you stop making everything combative." My mouth opened, then shut. I breathed. I reached into my bag and took out a thin folder. I put it on the coffee table. The cover said in clean font, "Family Financial Conduct Agreement." Jenna snorted. "Oh my God." I drafted it on my lunch break. I said, "It is not a trap. It is clarity that I like. It might bite. What is in it?" "Exactly what I have said for months," I replied. "My accounts are mine. No one is to hold or use my cards, ever. Any requests for money come in writing with purpose, amount, and repayment terms. No guilt language. No surprise visits to borrow items I need for work. If there is an emergency, we discuss it. A real emergency. A hospital emergency, not studio lighting." Mom flushed. "We are not signing that." "That is fine," I said. "It still applies." "You cannot make rules for us," Jenna said. "I can make rules for me," I said. "And I am." Mom stood. "Get out." I stood too. "Okay." She did not expect that. She faltered. "You are leaving?" "Yes," I said. "I will be in touch when I am ready." "Ready for what?" Jenna asked. "Silence," I said. "A break." "Do not be dramatic," Dad said. He sounded tired. He is always tired when it is time to stand up to Mom. "I am not," I said. "I am done." I left. I walked to my car with a quiet I had not felt in years. It was not happiness. It was space. The next 3 weeks were a lesson in what happens when you step out of a role people rely on. The texts escalated, then curdled, then went silent. Aunt Marlo wrote, "Family forgives. Be the bigger person." Cousin Leo wrote, laughing out loud, "Your sister says you are rich now. Congratulations." Someone I had not spoken to since high school direct messaged me, "Your mom says you are having a mental health episode." I took screenshots. I put my phone face down a lot. Then my building's courier called to say a package had been left. Inside was my extra laptop, scratched, and a ring light still in plastic. No note. I photographed them and filed the photo in a folder called Returns. I moved forward. I toured the condo with the green-tiled bathroom. I met the broker. I ran numbers. I felt the terror of doing something big for me after years of doing big things for everyone else. On a Thursday, I was in court when my phone buzzed with restricted. I let it go to voicemail. It was Mom. Her voice was different, small, brittle. "We need your help," she said. "Jenna has an issue with her credit. Someone did something with a card. There is a police officer here asking questions. Call me." I sat in my car after court and listened to it twice. The sun was bright. A kid pushed a scooter down the sidewalk, helmet too big. I called back. "What happened?" I asked. "It is a misunderstanding," she started. "What happened?" I repeated. Mom exhaled. "A card was used. They are saying it was not authorized. They are saying it was fraud." "Whose card?" "Yours," she said quickly. "But it is a mess, Harold, because it is all in the system wrong." I cut in. "No," I said. "It is very simple. I reported unauthorized use. If someone used my information, the bank and the police will handle it." "You are going to let your sister get arrested?" she snapped, heat returning to her voice. I could hear the old hooks sliding into place. Family guilt, duty. I felt it hit the boundary I had built and stopped there. "I am going to let the process work," I said, like I would for anyone. "She is your sister," Mom said softly, pleading now. "Yes," I said, "and I have been her safety net for a decade. That net is causing more harm than help." Mom went quiet. "Then you have changed." "I have stopped lying," I said. That looks like change. For 2 days, it was chaos. Extended relatives called. Old neighbors texted. Jenna posted a long story about betrayal with a black background and white font. I did not look. I only saw when a friend sent a screenshot with, "Is this about you?" I replied, "Not my circus anymore." Then it got quieter. People run out of outrage when you stop feeding it. I closed on the condo. I signed a lot of papers. I held the keys in my palm, warm from the escrow agent's hand, and felt my chest loosen like a knot untying. On moving day, my friend Marcus carried the heavy boxes and kept cracking jokes about my lawyer books, case books I keep for nostalgia. Because yes, I am that person. We assembled a cheap IKEA table that wobbled until it did not. We ate pizza on the floor because I do not own a table yet. It was not glamorous. It was mine. At 9:14 p.m., I stood alone in the green-tiled bathroom and looked at myself in the mirror. I thought about the kitchen, with peaches and a tiny knife. I thought about my mother's face when I said consequences. I thought about all the times I drove over at midnight with groceries and pretended that was love. My phone buzzed. A text from Dad. "Proud of you." Just that. 2 words, no emojis, no strings. It surprised me how much that small thing pinched behind my eyes. I typed, "Thank you." I did not add anything else. 2 months later, Dad asked me to stop by without the drama. The house looked the same. Lemons on the counter, television murmuring, the hook with keys. Jenna was not there. Mom poured tea she never drinks and pushed the cup toward me. "I should not have taken your card," she said, eyes on the steam. "I should not have told Jenna to." I told myself it was for her future. It was not my decision. My throat tightened. Years of arguing. And then finally, plain words. "She is back at the boutique," Mom added. "Part-time, she hates it. Work is good," I said. "Boring helps." Mom's mouth tugged. "You always liked boring." Silence. A neighbor's dog barked twice, like punctuation. "I am not the bank anymore," I said. "Not a threat, a fact." "I know," Mom said. "I know now." Dad sat and stared at my hands. I should have stopped it earlier. I thought I was keeping peace. "You were keeping quiet," I said. He nodded. He knew. "Do you hate me?" Mom asked suddenly. I shook my head. "I am angry less now, mostly tired." "I do not hate you," she exhaled. "Can we see your place?" "You cannot," I said. "Bring peaches." We laughed. Small, real. At the door, she hesitated, then held out my old spare key. I never used it. I should not have had it. "Thank you," I said, meaning it. In the car, I let the quiet settle. My keys felt heavier. Not from number, from ownership. Here is what practice taught me. Boundaries feel cruel when you have been trained to be useful. They feel cold when your role was warmth. But they are not walls. They are doors with locks you control. People who love you knock. People who love your access rattle the handle. I am done being access. I help when I choose, not when I am cornered. Last week, Jenna texted a photo of a tiny paycheck. "It is not much, but it is mine." I typed, "Proud of you," and put my phone down. Tonight I will eat at the wobbly IKEA table and look at the green tile and think, I did this. My card stays in my wallet unless I decide otherwise. That is the moral. I will not let you use me. And the bonus, when you stop being the bank, you stop being broke in ways money cannot measure. That first click in my head that day, not a lock closing, a key turning from the inside. As I sit here in my new condo, the quiet wrapping around me like a blanket I finally allowed myself to buy, I realize how long I had been holding my breath. For years, I told myself that being the reliable one, the fixer, the provider, was a virtue. I wore it like a badge, the son who never complained, the brother who always came through. But underneath that calm exterior, there was a slow erosion, a quiet resentment building in layers I barely acknowledged. Looking back, the moment in the mall wasn't just about the card or the $88,000 attempt. It was the culmination of every time I swallowed my no to keep the peace. Every Zelle transfer, every co-signed favor, every midnight drive with groceries, it all added up to a version of love that left me hollow. I felt invisible, reduced to what I could give rather than who I was. And worse, I felt complicit because I kept saying yes, convincing myself that family meant self-erasure. When I froze the card that day, something shifted inside me. Not a dramatic explosion, but a deep, aching relief mixed with grief. Relief because I finally protected the one thing that was undeniably mine. My future, my choices, my hard-earned security. Grief because I mourned the family I thought we were. The one where support flowed both ways, where gratitude existed, where my boundaries would have been respected without a fight. The weeks of silence that followed hurt more than the arguments. The accusations of being selfish, heartless, controlling, they stung because part of me still wanted their approval. I cried once, alone in this empty living room, not out of anger but out of exhaustion from carrying everyone else's expectations on my back for so long. I wondered if standing up for myself meant losing them forever, but then I realized, if love requires me to diminish myself, it isn't love, it's extraction. Now, months later, the anger has softened into something clearer, compassion, but only from a distance. I don't hate them. I pity the patterns we all fell into. Mom's belief that enabling was helping, Jenna's learned helplessness, Dad's avoidance. And I forgive myself for taking so long to break the cycle, buying this place, furnishing it slowly with things I chose, eating meals without the weight of unspoken obligations. It feels like reclaiming parts of me I didn't know I'd lost. I'm not triumphant. I'm simply free. Free to help when it comes from generosity, not guilt. Free to say no without justifying it. Free to build a life that includes family on my terms, not as their safety net. That first click in my head wasn't a lock closing. It was the sound of me finally choosing myself. And for the first time in years, I can breathe all the way down to the bottom of my lungs.